So thank you to all of the presenters so far. It's been great hearing about your projects. A gentle reminder to the presenters, if a question comes from the audience without the benefit of a mic, please repeat the question for the recording. So next up we have the Valemount Curling Club with a project to replace and upgrade lighting on the rink surface with LED lights for a project value of $41,769.
There you go.
Hi, my name is Corey Marshall. I'm a new member of the Curling Club, and this is Diana Smith. She's the president. We're looking for, well, currently we have 33 metal halide lights on the rink surface at the curling rink. They're as old as the building.
1992.
Some of them are burnt out and need replacing. They're not very efficient. They give off a lot of heat, which obviously affects the rink surface. And they cost a lot of money to run, and they don't turn on again when the power goes out very quickly. You have to let them cool down. We want to replace them with 22 LED lights, which are much more efficient. They last a lot longer. They give off better light, so we can use less lights. And they...
It's 400 watts comparative to 70 watts, which is used by an LED light. So it's comparably a lot less. Currently, we are a nonprofit society. I don't know if anybody knows. It is totally volunteer run. I think I can do it. I'm going to stand here. It's totally volunteer-based run. We have the Valemount Food Bank, which is situated in the back of the curling club, and the junior rangers use the basement every once in a while for their target practice also. So it's totally volunteer run. Our hydro bills, I was hoping I was going to have this month. Our hydro bill for December, January was $1,675. So raising funds pretty much comes from our bond spiels, any activities that we do up at the rink, and the bond spiels itself. We also have a bar upstairs which does produce some funds for us. It's not open 24/7. It's mainly used for, like I said, our bond spiels 3 times a year. I'm thinking that our next bill is going to be anywhere from $2,000 to $2,500, just because we've had 2 bond spiels in the last 2 months. We also are hosting our junior curling program this year, which had 26 curlers. And so on Tuesdays, we let the lights run from 2:30 when I show up until about 9 o'clock at night, only because we try to host both of our programs in that day. So we also do the adult curling that evening to try to keep the costs down. So every time you fire those lights, it is big time money. So we're hoping to replace them with something more efficient and less cost for us. Any questions?
Very good job.
Nothing?
Bruce?
Hi.
Do you know roughly how quickly you could recoup the cost of the lights from using the more efficient ones on your power bill? Like, do you have an idea of what?
Estimates we have online says that you can recoup your installation costs in a year and a half to 2 years. We don't really know exactly what it's going to save us, because we've got our power bill, you need a math degree to read it.
They are on a 2-tiered system. Can you use the microphone? Yeah. BC Hydro went to a 2-tiered system in the last 2 years. So when I got a letter from them last year, and that's kind of what started this project, they explained that if you use anything new or above what you use, you actually get pretty much double charged for what you use. So they compare it to the year before. So stating, they take what you took in 2012, and if you use less, they actually give you a credit for it. So this year it worked to our benefit, because we didn't start our plant and get everything running actually until December this year. So we kind of got a big credit at that time, because the year before that we had started mid-October. So it looked good at the beginning of the year, but then as you add on, if you use more wattage for that next time, which will show probably on this bill because we've had 2 bond spiels in a 2-month period, then we get charged more because you've used more kilowatts comparative to the year before. And that's how they base it. Anyone else? Go ahead.
Is there any other grant funding through hydro or anything to help offset the cost of?
Not that we've found yet. We're trying to check with Jen Walker Larson from BC Hydro to see if there are, but she's never gotten back to us yet. So not yet.
Jen? No. Anybody else? No, we're good. Thank you very much.
Thank you, ladies. So next we have the Valemount Entertainment Society for VCTV council chambers, studio, and field production equipment purchases for a total value of $26,481.
Thank you. I brought props. We're in the TV business, you have to have props, so here's my prop. Thank you. So the projects that we're working on, there's actually two projects under one umbrella here. One is for VCTV and field production equipment for our field production. So these are the things that we shoot outside of the studio and some things that we shoot in the studio as well. So we're looking at replacing our work lights that you can see here with the patented lasagna pan with an LED style light, which is a flat 1 foot square panel, which uses a lot less electricity, provides a nice flattering and clean image. We have been borrowing a camera for the past year, which we need to purchase. We've been trying to raise funds. You may have seen our fundraising campaign for it. We've been trying to raise funds for the Canon camera. If you want to see it, we're actually using it up at the back there, but it's a limited time offer. We need to return it at the end of this month if we can't get the funding for it. And these are the cameras that we're using before that, which is a small portable kind of consumer camera. In addition to that, a professional tripod and some support equipment such as a polarizing lens and a few things that we need to help our productions look and sound a little bit better. That's kind of one half of the project. The other half is for our television broadcast, specifically of the Village of Valemount Council. And this is not a council project, this is a VCTV project. We want to upgrade the lighting and the sound for the council chambers. The goal is to take it and do a live streamed council feed, so you'd be able to watch it from your home as the council meetings are occurring, rather than seeing them 2 days later or when they're posted to YouTube. In order to be able to do that, we need to upgrade the lighting and the sound, because right now, after each council meeting, I have to take the footage back and work on it in terms of color correcting the footage, making it brighter, working with the sound to make it, we're only using 3 microphones right now, so making the sound audible and clear and clean. It takes anywhere between 4 and 8 hours to do that. Thank you. So we want to upgrade those systems, and in addition to that, put in a speaker, which as I'm at every council meeting, I can often see people cupping their ears and trying to hear what the council people are saying. So putting a speaker system in the ceiling above the gallery, improving the lighting and the sound for the council chambers. So those are the projects that we would like to do. It's a total of $26,481. There's a fair bit of in-kind labor. The village would be providing some in-kind labor for the installation of the equipment at the village. I will be providing the in-kind labor through the Valemount Entertainment Society and VCTV for all of the equipment that we need as well. It will save us, just one quick calculation I did, the amount of time I spend working on the council setup, takedown, and the fixing of the footage and the audio equates to $2,206 a year in labor. So just in that alone, in that one small little area that I calculated, we'll save over $2,000 a year in time that is unnecessary for that. Okay, that's my stop, so thank you. Any questions? Yes, Daryl.
How does the cost break down between sort of the two sides of the project, the council portion and then the rest?
Thank you. It's almost an equal split. The VCTV field production equipment is $13,445, and the council $13,036. So it's almost exactly half. Other question? Yes, Wendy.
If you start doing a live feed, will you also be posting it still to YouTube? Because the live feed will be directly to the VCTV
Right, sorry, I forgot to repeat the question. So the question that Wendy's asking is, will we also be still posting it to YouTube as well as a live feed? Yes, yes and no. There is a potential to archive it through, if we used a service called Livestream, for example, they have an archive ability where it could be archived there. It also could be archived to our YouTube site, so we'd have to look at the logistics of that. The upload times are, no kidding, 12 to 18 to 24 hours to upload one council meeting, so it does take a long time. Other questions? Yes, Owen.
Has there been people or persons that have said, gosh, I wish I could watch this council meeting live in my home?
Yes, actually, I've heard that from several people that have expressed that desire, that can't make it out for whatever reason, that would like to be able to do it. Those people who are maybe mobility challenged or just prefer to watch it from their home. There was even, sorry, councillors, but there was even a request if we did that, if we could have a call-in complaints line during the council. That's out of my hands, sorry. Anything else? Thank you very much.
Thank you, Gord, and that was actually really great karma because Gord was the one who asked me to have everyone repeat the questions. So, next up we have the Valemount Gymnastics Club for a project for Valemount Gymnastics Club recreational gymnastics for a project value of $8,955.52.
So I'm Karen Dowdy, and this is Jenny Byford, and we're the coaches with the Valemount Gymnastics Club. The Gymnastics Club has been around for 18 years, and for the last 6 to 8 years, we've both been fully certified Level 1 coaches. Canada Sport for Life has identified 4 foundation sports that all children should participate in by the age of 10, and they are gymnastics, track and field, swimming, and because we're Canadian, skating. So gymnastics is the foundation sport for all other sports. Our program has 50 children involved right now between the ages of 3 and 14 years old, and about 25% of them are boys. Our program is set up and take down, so every Monday and Wednesday we set up all the equipment at 3 and take it down at 6:30 in the Valemount Elementary School gym. What we're looking for is some recreational sized parallel bars, rings, and a high bar plus the mats that go with it, that serve children up to 150 pounds, so we can emphasize some of the boys' gymnastics that we haven't been able to do. Plus, they come with attachments like a trapeze and a climbing station for the preschool gymnasts that we have. It's also used by the school because we have an agreement, kind of a special agreement with myself, I guess, that I get to use the equipment that the gymnastics equipment club has. But we have quite a bit of equipment that's geared towards older gymnasts. It is getting dated because it's about 18 years old. We'd like to upgrade and use the smaller equipment, as you saw by our little enthusiastic gymnasts out there. Having the new equipment really encourages skills, plus the smaller stuff for the smaller gymnasts helps them develop things. We've got a new balance beam that we got with our last Columbia Basin Trust money 2 years ago that is twice as wide as a regular balance beam, and in the last year 6 of our gymnasts have been able to land a cartwheel on the balance beam. So having the right size of equipment that caters to the children really helps them develop their skills. So that's it. Any questions? There. And the picture's outside in the hall if anybody saw it. If you didn't see it already, there's a picture of the equipment we would like to have. Yep.
It's a relatively new club.
18 years. Okay, no questions?
Thank you very much, ladies. Next, we have the Valemount Lions Club with a project of interior, exterior revitalization and fire code upgrades for a project value of $5,207.16.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Barb Shepherd, and I'm with the Valemount Lions Club. We have been serving Valemount for 44 years in many ways. Annual scholarships and bursaries, helping people with travel for medical appointments, donating our hall for various functions and other reasons, and generally assisting where needed through our community emergency funds. This year we applied for and received a grant from the BC Gaming Branch and were able to distribute $7,500 to 5 local youth groups. For these and many other projects, we must do a lot of fundraising. Catering is our biggest fundraiser. We also host dances and rent the hall out. Our members spend hundreds of volunteer hours each year fundraising. To make the hall available for an affordable community venue, we have to keep it presentable by painting, repairing, and updating as necessary. This year, we are asking for funds to do the interior painting and bringing the hall up to fire code. On the exterior, we want to paint the building for tourist curb appeal and repair the shed at the rear of the building. Most of the work will be done by volunteers. We are an ambitious bunch, a little slow, but we're determined and willing to learn. With these improvements, we hope to encourage maximum use of our hall while presenting a great community fair. Raising funds is an uphill battle, but with the support of the community, organizations like the CBT, Regional District, Community Forests, and hardworking Lions members, we will continue to serve the community and fulfill our mandate, which is youth, because our youth are the future. And thank you for coming this evening, and are there any questions? Well, thank you.
Thank you very much, Barb. Next, we have the Valemount Marina Association to propose a project for a marina boom log protection system for a project value of $9,200.
Perfect, thank you. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Dave Blanchette. I'm the Vice President of the Valemount Marina Association. I'm here to look for funding of $9,200 to purchase 60 pieces of boom logs to control the debris around the marina down the lake. For folks that are familiar with the marina, we have a problem with debris building up in around the dock and launch and recovery areas at the marina, and what we want to do is build a boom log system to keep that debris from building up in there and preventing us from gaining access to and from the lake at high water. As you can see on the far left, on the far right, that's how the debris builds up in there. And if we had the boom logs, we could eliminate that and keep access to the lake. There's the water levels. At that low level, with the boom logs, we can still maintain access to the lake and keep the debris clear of the new loading ramps down below. The plan is to buy the 60 pieces of boom logs from the community forest. The logs have already been harvested. They're already in storage. What we need is the money to buy the logs. The work to build the booms is going to be done by a local contractor. The labor is going to be provided by marina membership volunteers. So the money is going to be kept local. What we're losing right now, without the boom logs, what we lose is access to the lake equal to about 350 days over a 10-year period. So you'll get boaters go down, they're hoping to get out on the water. The marina's plugged up, they can't get in, and they can't get use of the lake. And as you can see, BC Hydro already provides quite a pile of funding to provide cleanup initiatives all along the lake. So they're already kicking in that kind of money. We're looking to CBT to provide the $9,200 for the boom logs. And there you go. So, any questions?
How wide is the area? How long is the area?
The long is the area. How long is the area where it's going to provide?
Yeah.
Well, you're going between the present breakwater right out around the end of the low water area launch ramp, right to the beach on the other side there over by Horsey Creek. It's going to provide quite a large area of access to keep it clear. What it'll also help, it'll help with the damage to our infrastructure we have down there already. At high water, you get the stuff go in there, the debris builds up underneath our present docks, water goes down, traps the logs underneath the docks, and then our docks are all getting buggered up.
Will this keep debris out of Horsey Creek campground also?
The question is, will this keep debris out of Horsey Creek? No, it won't. The boom logs won't go all the way over there. It comes to the, I guess, the southernmost point of Horsey Creek, not covering the campground.
There's no program at Horsey Creek. The program is at Northern.
I saw another question. No, it won't go across the campground. Go ahead, Bob.
Yeah, them logs, they're coming from the community forest, right?
Yes, the logs are coming from community forest.
What's the full cost of the logs, do you know?
The full cost of the logs is $9,200.
Did they give you a break, seeing it's a community forest?
As far as I know, no. We didn't get a break from community forest.
Well, I think maybe you should be talking to them about that.
That's another option. Thank you, Bob. No more questions? Okay, thank you, everybody. Thank you, Madam Chair. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Dave. Okay, next we have the Valemount Public Library Association for Library Log Maintenance and Sign Replacement Project for a project value of $8,500.
Thanks, Ann. Hi, my name is Daryl Pollock. I'm one of the directors of the Valemount Public Library Association. So as everyone knows, the public library serves a population of about 1,700 people, pretty much the whole valley. Over half of those people are active users of the library. We loan out books, magazines, CDs, DVDs, audiobooks twice. So in the past year, almost 900 library users circulated over 20,000 different items. The library also serves visitors to the community by providing computers and free Wi-Fi for public internet access and by loaning materials through the BC One Card program. We're applying to Community Initiatives Program for $8,500 to sand and refinish the exterior log structure of the library and to replace the existing sign for the library and the museum that's on Main Street. The exterior log structure of the library was last refinished in 2003, which was the only refinishing of the structure that's occurred since its construction in 1988. The refinishing will help preserve and protect the log structure of the library and also spruce up the exterior of the library in much the same way as the recent refinishing of the village entrance sign improved its appearance. The original library and museum sign on Main Street is of wooden construction and has unfortunately rotted and needs to be replaced. A new log frame and a sign will be erected in the same place, but we hope to orient the new sign at right angles to Main Street so that it's much more visible for both vehicles as well as pedestrians looking for the library. There's one tree near the sign that we may need to prune or move such that it will not obscure the sign. The library and building the library building and property are actually owned by the Village of Valemount, and we have obtained a letter of support from Village Council for this funding application. If the application for funding from the Community Initiatives Program is successful, we plan on putting the work out for bids in May, and the work would occur this summer. Thanks to all of you for coming out this evening. Are there any questions? Yes?
If the building belongs to the village, why are you asking for money from CBT to fix it?
The Library Association and the question was, if the building belongs to the village, why is the Library Association applying for money to refinish it? The Library Association is responsible for all upkeep on the building. We are responsible for all maintenance on the building. If a light bulb burns out, we're responsible for the cost for the building. So again, the village paid for the initial construction of the of the library building, but again, the library itself is responsible for the upkeep on the building.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions? Great. Thanks again, everyone.
Thank you, Daryl. Next, we have, oh dear, I wasn't ready here. The Valemount Senior Citizens Housing Society to propose a project for fire safety upgrades to the Golden Years Lodge for a project value of $4,000.
Good evening. I'm Bobby Rowe. I'm the administrator for the Valemount Senior Citizens Housing Society. The society has been in business in Valemount for the last 37 years. We provide affordable housing for low to moderate income seniors. And we're looking for $4,000 to do fire safety upgrades to the lodge. The money will go towards fire doors, an upgrade to the fire alarm system, and an emergency light. We have done some small changes and improvements with signage and that kind of thing. And we've had a fire inspection, so this is absolutely necessary work. It has to be done, and we need to ensure the safety of our seniors. Thank you. Any questions? Yes.
Yeah, Bobby, were you given a timeline on when the upgrades need to be completed?
We need to do them as soon as possible. I've priced out the doors, and we're having technicians come from Prince George sometime this month to look at the panel that we have to have upgraded. So I'm hoping that we'll be able to get the project underway by the 1st of May at the very latest, and it'll be done within a month or two after that. Certainly we'll be finished by the end of the summer. Any other questions? Yes.
Having your project done by the end of summer, does that meet the requirements or the deadline by this fire inspection?
Our fire, the letter just said to do it in a timely manner to make sure that it was done. These upgrades are to the basement of the building, actually not to the upstairs. The upstairs is past the inspection, and it's just the basement that has to be upgraded. The reason for this is that we didn't have a fire marshal here for quite a number of years. So there weren't any inspections. We had passed all of the inspections on the building prior, and this year we had the fire inspection done, and these were the things that needed to be upgraded.
Do you feel this will help keep seniors safe in the complex?
Definitely, I do. Yes.
If you looked at a community that didn't have CBT funding, what would you have to do to get this done? Where would the funds have to come from?
Sorry, I didn't quite hear.
Sorry. Let's say that this facility was in McBride where they didn't have access to CBT funds. What would they do under the same circumstances to get this?
Well, we would have to fundraise. We're kind of caught this year because we have a very limited budget, and so the upgrades weren't in our budget, within our means to do that. So we would have to do some fundraising. Okay. Any other questions? Thank you very much.
Thank you, Bobby. Next, we have the Valemount Tourism Committee for Phase 2 of the Cranberry Marsh Trail and Boardwalk for a total project value of $118,887.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. This one here? Perfect. I'm presenting on behalf of the Valemount Tourism Committee. It's a committee of council. However, the funds come through the additional hotel room tax. For the past 7 years, we have really tried hard to complete the trail around Cranberry Marsh, and we're trying to complete the last phase of the section C, the one that it's hard to see, but it's the one that's red up there. It's almost 1 kilometer of trail and boardwalk. The most important thing that I would like to also present with this project is that's the first time that we're asking for some money and also bringing back money to the Community Initiatives Project. That means that for the next 2 years, Tourism Valemount has already an agreement with the provincial government that they will receive funding for this kind of type of infrastructure project, and so that we can pay back $80,000. That means $40,000 in 2015 and another $40,000 in 2016. As you all know, Cranberry Marsh is a real jewel for the community. It's one of those kind of great amenities for locals and of course also for visitors. And the great thing is so close to town. Somebody today asked me, can you do without these funds? Yes, maybe we can. The only thing is that we would have again to ask for additional extensions permits. It's always very difficult to get those kind of permits from the different ministries. And also we would have to ask the different ministries that are helping us in funding this year to bank the money for another 2 years. I think that's all I have to say with regard to this project. Dan?
You're showing a boardwalk. Is it made of wood? And why would you not do like a dike like it is done on the first half?
Okay, wait, hold on, can I? Which one is this one here? Is it this one? Oh, that.
Because I've seen the post.
No, this function is not available. It says, this function is, okay. Boardwalk, requirement from the Ministry of Environment. We had asked to do that. That would have been the simplest way to just kind of dig up from the sides, make a normal trail. Would have been also easier from a maintenance point of view. But the Minister of Environment said absolutely not. We have to go with a boardwalk because for the water flows and a lesser impact on the marsh. An environmental management plan was done in 2010, and the environmental management plan describes how this can be done and the only way how the Ministry of Environment would accept the trail or the boardwalk. Yeah. I've been asked that question and say at least for 15 years. No, they're not, but they're cedar.
What are we looking at right there?
Those are the pilings, and that was phase 1 of the project. And so the remainder of the dollars that we would need is to complete the whole boardwalk.
So did phase 1 anticipate finishing that boardwalk? Is this
Yes.
an extension of it?
Yes, yeah.
So they didn't have enough money in the first phase?
No, we knew that we would not have enough money because the return or the responses to the RFP were, of course, much, much higher than we thought that a trail or a boardwalk could cost. At the same time, it's very difficult to get those kind of cost estimates done by different companies. And in fact, when we talked to the engineers who had done the environmental management plan, they said probably the best way of getting a cost estimate is to do an RFP. And the RFP went from over $300,000 to $1.2 million for the same project. So you see how difficult it is to get some real estimates for this kind of type of project sometimes.
Is this an infrastructure upgrade or an infrastructure?
Difficult to define. I would say definitely in the amenity part, and has nothing to do with the village infrastructure kind of projects. It's outside of the village boundaries.
How many people do you think use that boardwalk or will use that boardwalk? Was there ever a count done or a feasibility study done to see whether all that money spent was worth it per person per?
I have to be honest with you, I do not know. And we would do the same thing like they did for Crystal Ridge. We would also put there a person counter and then see how that works. But I cannot tell you.
Yeah, I was confused. You said 2 years, $40,000 would be paid back each year. I don't understand.
Okay, I can explain it briefly. The hotels and motels in Valemount, they raised the additional hotel room tax. That's 2% for each whatever cost for the hotel rooms. And the provincial government, 3 years ago when we started a new agreement, those are always kind of 5-year term agreements, they said that they would give, in addition to those 2% that come back to the village of Valemount, but can only be used for marketing and promotion, they would also give back a 1% of the 2%, so half, that can be used for events, and that's where we pay for the bird watching, spring festival, Vail Mountain Days, or the Robson Marathon where we make some contributions, and the winter festival. And that's 30% of the total amount, which is roughly somewhere between $50,000 and $60,000 on a yearly basis. And 70% of that amount can be used for infrastructure projects such as the Cranberry Marsh. So for the next 2 years, that means 2015 and 2016, we have, the Village of Valemount has an assigned agreement with the provincial government, with the Ministry of Jobs and Tourism, where we will get back in 2015 probably roughly $50,000, $60,000, and the same thing in 2016. And 70% of that amount is roughly $40,000.
And where would that $40,000 go each year?
No, they go back to the Columbia Basin Trust Community Initiative Fund. So they would be as a restitution. So in the end, what we're really asking the Columbia Basin Trust, the CIP program, is the $38,000. But of course, it would be nice to be able to complete the project now. If it doesn't happen now, and some people ask me, I think we may also be able probably to find some other solutions, but it may take time. That means we will have to bank the money that we may receive. We will have to ask for some extensions, the permit to go into the marsh for some additional building.
How long has this project been on the books?
7 years now.
Why so long?
Probably, first of all, funds, and secondly, also to get the permits.
So essentially, this is a loan from the CIP program, and so for the next 2 years, there will be more money in the CIP program than what there is normally? Is that correct?
Yeah, I mean, the question, if this is principally a loan, and if in the next 2 years there will be more money in the CIBT or CBT, sorry, CBT, CIP funding, yes, you can call it like that. Probably the most important thing is that in the next 2 years, if on a yearly basis, I think we get some $200,000, you will have $240,000 each year. And of course, the Tourism Committee has made a resolution with this regard, and also was presented to Council. So it's dedicated and allocated to be given back to CIBT.
Is there the possibility of asking for $38,000 and then just getting conventional financing or NDIT financing for the rest?
Yeah, we have looked also in that, and this Council was probably not willing to go for a loan, to a type of NIDT loan or commercial loan. So we have looked into that, yes.
You just said Council wasn't willing to look at the NDIT loan, but
Yeah.
excuse me if I misunderstand this, is not tourism, Valemount, with the hotel tax, is that not separate from council?
No, it's a committee of council. It's not a separate society. It's not a tourism or marketing destination organization like in some other bigger places, because we're in a very small community and the funds that are collected are also minimal. It's still a committee of council. Okay. Oh, sorry.
For the funds that were spent there, lots of contractors feel that you guys paid too much the first time. So my question is this going to go back out for tenure so other contractors can bid on this? Or are you going to go back to the same guy that milked you before?
Okay, here the answer is very simple. The village of Valemount put out a request for proposals probably 2 years ago. We received 5 responses to that request of proposal. One was also probably one of your companies or one of your partners. And the best bidder received the contract. And as I said before, the bids were from $300,000 up to $1.2 million. And everybody, it was open to everybody to make that bid.
That was 3 years ago. It ain't complete.
No, it was probably 2 years ago, yeah. But we can talk about that later on, but some of your partners, they have also submitted a proposal. So. Okay, sorry. Then you missed the opportunity to submit a bid. It's unfortunate.
I asked you this before, but I gotta hear it again. How long is that stretch right there?
The whole trail length is 0.
This piece here that you put in with the post.
That's probably 200-300 meters, or 200-300 yards.
And how much do you think that cost?
I can only tell you what we paid for the whole, and the whole area is around 700 meters, and we paid over $100,000.
Is this a local contract that did this?
Yes, yeah, it's Don Beeson Logging. It's not a secret. There are all the documents open in the different council meetings when it was submitted and approved, yes.
So is that just regular work, like that's, you just pull up your cap and jam those things in the ground, or is that an environmental activity as well?
Right. Now here it's, in fact, what they had to do in order to do this work, they had to follow exactly the instructions as they were set in the environmental management plan. And of course, in that cost is also the supervision that was done by a company out of Prince George, and their name is DWB Consulting, and they had submitted the plan initially, the plan that was received by the Ministry of Forest, Lands and Natural Resources, and the agreement or the requirement from the ministry was that this was built exactly according to that environmental management plan. And that could also be one issue why the costs are that. And of course also what kind of system is used and everything here has been dictated by the environmental management plan.
How long do we expect this boardwalk to stand up before it falls in the water?
I said 15 years.
So was it built to accommodate bicycles as well, or just walking?
No, just boardwalk, yeah.
Not sure if you answered Dave's question from before. Will this be going back out to tender?
No.
Or is it the same
No.
company?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Are there any liability issues regarding the fact that the contract has already been granted?
Okay, the question is if there are any liability issues.
Any financial
Yes.
liability issues? Have you signed a contract, or sorry, not yourself?
No.
Is there a signed contract?
No, the village has signed the contract for phase 1. Yeah, and this will be now phase 2. But the pricing for phase 2 is based on the proposals that we received for the first RFP. So we know how much was done for the first portion, and then now we know what needs to be done and also paid for the remainder of the work. And it's always based on those kind of 5 responses that we received. Okay, great, thank you.
Thank you very much, Silvio. The next project, and second to last project, is for the Valemount Volunteer Fire Department for firework display certification and the annual fireworks display for a total project value of $4,000.
All right, thank you. Good evening. I'm Rick Lalonde, Valemount Fire Chief, for those of you that don't know. So last year we had a proposal to CBT for some assistance for fireworks, and that went very well. But we realized that we do have some shortfalls with some of our own people due to retirement, etc. And there's requirements. Some of the requirements have changed gradually over time, and we basically haven't kept pace with some of that. And that is that the certification for fireworks, it requires a 5-year renewal. And that's some of the point that we're at presently, so I'll get on with this presentation here. So we're responsible for, well, we've taken on the responsibility of looking after the Halloween fireworks, as well as we set off the fireworks for the July 1st festivities. The July 1st fireworks is a federal grant to the village to provide that entertainment for that time period along with Canada Day. So historically, I was counting back roughly, historically it's actually 30 plus years that we've been looking after fireworks displays for the Halloween time of the year. And some of our members, of course, have already talked about that. Some of our members have left, and we require some certification for some new members. So the breakdown on the funding, we're asking for $4,000. 40% of the requested funding would go to member certification and training, and the other 60% would go towards the purchase of annual Halloween fireworks. Last year we did have some donation jars at the local businesses where we did collect some funding for the fireworks display. The amount of funding we received from Columbia Basin Trust was $2,500, and excuse me, and our fire department association made up the difference between what was collected, and I think the collections amounted to about $700. So our own people's wages donated the shortfall. And this year we are planning to do about the same thing. The certification, we'll have a trainer that will be coming to Valemount to provide this education, as that's more cost effective than paying mileage and lodgings for people to go out of town, because the closest, of course, would be a trip to a major center at a distance of a couple hundred miles generally. So we've planned for training for up to 10 members to be able to carry on with our present program of fireworks displays. Are there any questions?
Why wouldn't you do it for all the members? Why only 10?
Well, we canvassed our crew, and that was the potential interest, was approximately 10 members to a maximum of 15. So for argument's sake, 10 got put in this PowerPoint as a number. There's a couple of typos on the sheet of paper that was part of the meet and greet out front there, and it said that VARTA will host this person from the ministry to the local fire hall. It was supposed to be Valemount Volunteer Fire Department will be the host, and October 31st, Varda will not be hosting the community fireworks display. That'll be Valemount Fire Department that does that. Thanks, though, Curtis. And also, I'd like to thank all of those that donated to our fireworks donation jars at the local businesses, and others have provided a check or some other donation in kind to help pay for the fireworks, and that's greatly appreciated. It does take a lot of time and effort to collect enough funds to try and keep this fireworks display on the go here, so I appreciate that. Is there any other questions? Yes, ma'am.
So if the capacity, the training capacity is 15 people for the trainers to come out and do that, and you've only got, say, 8, would there be a possibility of training being opened up to community members potentially that would be interested?
Well, yeah, there's probably no requirement for pay, but there is no purpose to a community member having a pyrotechnics ticket, because unless you're going to do a display as per their regulations, you're not going to be able to buy legal fireworks to do it. You can buy low trajectory fireworks from our local home hardware and have your own display, but if you're going to have medium to high trajectory fireworks and larger size mortars, that's the requirement to have a pyrotechnics ticket for the display. Yes, Pete?
Rick, I'm just wondering, is this something that can be a shared cost with the fire department?
I was talking to Chief Ruby from McBride, and they do only low trajectory fireworks, and at this time they're not interested in participating, partly due to the cost of recertification every 5 years, and they're not planning to do any medium or higher trajectory fireworks. However, I will have to open it up to Clearwater Fire Department and possibly Jasper if there's some more interest there, because there's not necessarily a maximum amount for the class. 10 was kind of a rounded number, but there's room for more than the 15 even. Anyone else? Thank you.
Thank you very much, Rick. And our last presentation tonight is for the Yellowhead Outdoor Recreation Association for 5 Mile Road upgrades Phase 3 for a project value of $65,000.
Hello, last but not least, I guess. Anyway, I'm Patricia Toney, President of YOR, and this is Joe Newsy, Vice President. And as you see, we are trying to finish up 5 Mile. It's the final phase of a 3-phase project, and I'll let Joe explain a little more.
Hello, I'd like to keep the explanation brief. I'm assuming most people here know where 5 Mile Road is and what it services: trails, the old fire lookout, as well as the Alpine McCurdy Meadows official rec trailhead. We've completed 2 phases involving eliminating steeper sections and switchback corners on the old road, which was constructed sometime either the 40s or the 50s, but it was in rough shape. It was a jeep trail. We've currently got the maximum grade down to 15% approximately from 22%, eliminated 7 corners. The final phase, unfortunately the most expensive phase, is to put in proper ditching and culverts so that the road is permanently accessible, public, and survives every winter/spring. The majority of this budget is for machine time to do technical ditching and culvert installation, 40 hours of cat time, 40 hours of excavator time, and you've got most of this budget. There's some gravel and some tree removal as well as some contingencies for engineering. I don't think we'll need it, but it's there if we need it. The partnership is with the Valemount Community Forest. Obviously, it's a huge project. There's a road permit out for harvest purposes. We're piggybacking on with the community forest. We couldn't afford to take out a road permit just for Eora. That's the time sensitivity of this project, and that's why we're asking for the funds to get it done well. They have plans to work in the area. They'll be logging this summer. After that, their road permit is closed. So any of the majorly invasive work needs to be done this summer, hence the large sum. I'd really just like to open up to questions if that's okay, because I think it's too big of a project to talk about all night. It'd be better to answer specifics. Yeah, go ahead.
So your tenure for the bid on this, is that going to be done through the community forest, or who's going to do this work?
Yeah, all contract administration for phase 1, 2, and 3 will be done through the community forest through their normal process. And the management is being done. Basically, Eora has said, we have this bike park, we have this trail, we have this viewpoint. What can we do? And then we use their technical expertise and RFT certifications to make it feasible cost-wise and legally under the guidelines of the permit that we could get. And they're also, in the budget I put, I think, $5,000 or $10,000 donation in kind for the administration and technical expertise time that the community forest has been donating to the project. So that's, yes, the answer is community forest will be handling all contracting. Yeah. That is part of the reason for the money. After the permit is done for logging, the road is in no-no land, and anyone who's in the natural resource sector knows that bridges are getting pulled, roads aren't being maintained, so we kind of have to decide which roads matter to us and do what it takes to keep it open. After this phase, the road will be at a grade where $500, maybe $1,000 a year to grade it. Right now, it would take 2 full days of a really good grader operator, and it'd be a bad job. He's dodging stumps. There's rock heads poking out. When he's done, there's actually a grader contractor who lives on Hillside, luckily. So the vision is to get it to a state where some sort of sustainable $500,000 annual fund can keep the road permanently open. Same with the culverts. We can leave the culverts in as long as there's a effort to maintain the road. Village might be asked for some tenure type of thing in the future, especially with the bike park, but that's the vision, is to get it to the point where it's actually feasible to maintain the road.
And actually, the ministry does maintain it every couple of years right now, because there is a viewpoint that is part of a little recreational site up there. So it does get, maintained once in a while.
Yeah, that's Rec Branch does have some money to grate roads for recreational purposes, but it's very sporadic and usually based on elections and the normal thing. Yep. The photos of the skiing, it'll be a wider ski right away, trees will be removed, more snow will fall on the road. It's already easier to groom. We eliminated 7 of those corners, which just torques the sled like you can't believe, and now those are gone, lower grades. And then in terms of access, if we do get enough for everything and the graveling, you'll be able to drive a 2-wheel drive car to the top of 5 Mile Hill in normal summer conditions, and also to the trailhead of McCurdy Meadows. With the bike park, which was approved last week, we're going to have 2-way traffic flying up and down that road, 10 guys in a pickup truck and bikes. So we're trying to widen the right-of-way, put drainage in, get rid of trees. It's one of those rare opportunities where you have skiers, hikers, bikers, sightseers, all using one road. So if there's one 6-kilometer stretch of road we can probably keep open, it's this one, I would say. Any other questions? And also, if you have any input in the project, you're welcome to contact us too. We're trying to accommodate all. There's also a tobogganing hill component that we're working into the plan, so that factors in. Those who use it know exactly what we're talking about, so I won't waste your time with the PowerPoint. Yeah. Yeah, well, the very, very top, we did clear about a quarter of a hectare off the top, So you can actually see the mountain ranges now. We don't have funding in this budget for that, but that's the type of thing that can be done easily in the future without a permit, right? We're trying to get the stuff that needs to be done under the road permit done before the road permit expires. We can add gravel, we can open up the site, all of that. In terms of the logging, there's 2 blocks proposed. One in the lower section, you won't see it from town at all, and there's a small block at the top kind of curling around. You might see it a little bit, but it shouldn't be. It's a small block. Yeah, it's right on the shoulder where it bends into Swift Creek. Yeah. Yeah, the Valemount Community Forest, anyone who wants can go see the plans there. I realize it's a lot of money. The only reason why we're asking for the amount is because, like I say, the road permit expires, and after that, it's less probable, and that's about the summary of the project. But. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody, for all of those great ideas, great presentations. We recognize there's some real financial challenges in accomplishing those. And so just a reminder that for other ideas that you have, or if your project happens to be unsuccessful in this process, our grant writer is available to talk to maybe seek out other funding. So a quick wrap up here. Following tonight's public input meeting, the CBT Adjudication Committee will meet to review the applications and to provide recommendations to the Valemount Council. The Council will consider these recommendations at its April 22nd, 2014 Council meeting. And decisions regarding applications will then be made public, and decision letters will be sent out to applicants in early May. So on behalf of the CBT and the Village of Valemount Council and the CBT Adjudication Committee, thank you very much to both the applicants for presenting tonight and to the public for your questions and for casting your votes. Please don't forget to fill out and turn in your evaluation form before you leave. Thank you and have a good night.